My name is Colin Baker. And of course, if you're a fan of Doctor Who, you'll know me for playing the sixth incarnation of that wonderful Time Lord. Yes, the one with the colourful coat. Anyway, to business, and let me welcome you into the TARDIS. Play the Doctor on television, on stage, and, of course, in the brilliantly produced audio drama adventures made by Big Finish Productions, which bring fresh, exciting new adventures to your ears. And that's what we're here to showcase. Doctor Who audio drama from Big Finish. Now, it's worth saying that the cast from the TV episodes are featured in these audio adventures, so it's quality and attention to detail all the way. In our last set of adventures, we were in the era of the First Doctor, and now the Vortex has brought us into the era of the Second Doctor, for a tale that again takes us to an episode in history that once more exposes us to the cold and war and, witches? Witches, of a sort. Here's a taste of things to come.
I hope we ain't back in the South Pole.
No. But I told you we need our warm clothes, didn't I? You see, I've been to Russia before.
Well, this Winter Palace is well named, I'll give you that. It's brass monkeys out here.
Aye, I'm freezing. The snow's turning my knees blue.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions. Doctor Who, The Early Adventures. The Night Witches.
There's something you should see.
What is it?
If this is 1782, they didn't have tanks then, did they, Doctor?
Oh, my word. There must be a dozen of them. Armoured cars, too. I can't quite make out the markings.
Me neither. But I know that shape. Blimey. They're German panzer tanks.
Stay down. Gonna blow up the TARDIS. Get down!
The pilot's a woman.
In 30 minutes, if you do not tell me what is going on, I will shoot one of your comrades dead.
Hold on tight, Jamie. Hurry, Doctor. She's coming around for another go.
Big Finish. We love stories.
Oh, I don't like the sound of night witches, Doctor.
Coming up, once more, it's a cold reception for the TARDIS crew with an explosive start to their escapades. Just how do witches fit into the Second World War? And what is it about Polly that has some people so alarmed? Time to find some answers to those questions, and I'll be back afterwards with a look behind the scenes. So, see you in a bit. Now, though, settle back for part one of The Night Witches. Talk about a double take. Looks like the Doctor has a polygamy situation on his hands. Work it out, come on. And just what is it about cells and the Doctor? Time now for a look behind the scenes, and we catch up with Polly herself.
Hello, I'm Annika Wills, and I play Polly, and I also narrate this wonderful story. This is new territory for Polly, actually, being, crashing through the snow and so forth, and being on her own and having to deal with dangerous situations. And also, this is the first time, I think, that it really is emotional. It's an emotional journey we make. I've just been reading the bit where we think the Doctor is dead. I'm blubbing away. I blub away at anything these days anyway. But no, I had to have a break and mop up because, we've just lost the Doctor. I won't go back there because it's quite upsetting. Polly was created by Kit Pedler, and Kit Pedler was a scientist and his wife scientist. And the two of them, both of them, in the early 60s there, very keen that young women should have a place in the scientific world and should have jobs. So Polly comes in as a personal assistant to a very brilliant scientist who's created the war machine. So she's very sassy, and sussed. And then that's the play with Ben, that in her cleverness, she can also be a bit of a clever clogs, and he gets fed up with that. He likes her, but, when she gets a bit too clever. So then there are the stories where Polly is making the coffee. Go and make some coffee, will you? But the Doctor always knows that if he tells her to do that, she's going to go off and listen and, and alter the action in some way. So no, she was never flighty. I like being the narrator. It feels like such a gift to read these stories. And I realised that when I was a child, I loved, at school, when you had to do reading in English literature, I couldn't wait until it was my turn. I absolutely loved it. I loved reading stories. So, so I get to do it now. It's lovely. The only thing I couldn't do in this story was I couldn't do a Russian accent. It began to be that I would also play Tatiana, and that was a challenge, and I thought, this is exciting. I'm going to do a Russian accent. But it's completely out of I have never done one before. I had nobody to hear. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to turn up doing a sort of rather lousy meerkats imitation. I finally called up David Richardson and said, I can't do this. It's too difficult. He said, oh, no problem. Actually, a couple of the other actresses are actually Russian. I thought, oh my God, I'm glad I'm not turning up with my terrible cod Russian accent. So I stepped out of it, which was a great relief. After all these years, the characters are still expanding. Each time you do another story, there are elements that you're bringing to the character that you didn't know at the time. It's wonderful.
Companions have moved on since, can I refer to it as my day? I suppose I can. When old Sixie was around, that was the tail end of when screaming was still de rigueur. Poor old Nicola always had to go, Doctor, when the companion was regarded as a means of showing the fear of the audience, and a means of having the Doctor explain to an inferior being what was going on. I can see now why all those lovely actresses who've played companions so brilliantly resisted any excessive amount of that kind of acting being demanded. And of course companions now are literally that. They are companions with the Doctor, not kind of little acolytes running around making appropriate fear noises. In the time of the second Doctor, I think they were all supposed to be afraid, weren't they, all the time? Poor things. The only time I ever stepped in on behalf of a companion was about dear old Perry, when at the end of the trial season, I certainly had no idea what had really happened to her. Had she been turned into Kiv? Was she dead? What had happened? So I asked that question. I said, what had happened? And literally on the spot, a rewrite was done, saying, she's married Ikanos, which I did think was a tad odd at the time. But I think I preferred the knowledge of her being alive somewhere in the continuum, rather than being turned into a glorified slug. But on other occasions, Nicola and I certainly played against the text. All that whinging that was going on when Perry and the Sixth Doctor were marching through their stories. A new script would arrive and she was whinging and I was being patronising. So we kind of played against the text a bit to make it look as if we were doing so in full knowledge of what we were doing and finding it entertaining. And I think it worked because it helped to nudge the writers away from that one element of their relationship. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Next time, will the Doctor convince his captors that they really aren't German spies? And spying is one thing, but what is it that Commander Nadia thinks is going on that involves Polly? And will the Doctor, Jamie, Ben and Polly ever see the TARDIS again? Find out next time as you come with me into the TARDIS. Now, don't forget that Doctor Who, the worlds of Doctor Who, and more besides, live on at bigfinish.com. You've been listening to Into the TARDIS, hosted by me, Colin Baker, and produced by Ian Meadows. Supervising producer was Lizzie Wursdell, and executive producers are Nicholas Briggs and Jason Hay Gallery.